Carlos was a talented carpenter, known in his small town for transforming old houses into true works of art. He led a simple and honest life, but behind his warm smile, there was a deep sadness. His wife, Mariana, had passed away 5 years ago, and since then, he had dedicated himself to work as a way of coping with the pain. One day, Carlos was hired to renovate a century-old house on the outskirts of town. It was a mansion that had been abandoned for decades, full of dust and hidden secrets. During the renovation, while dismantling a wall, Carlos found an old door, hidden behind layers of wood. The door was decorated with strange symbols, which seemed to pulse with an energy of their own. He felt a chill run down his spine, but his curiosity was stronger. "What a strange door! I've never seen anything like it," Carlos murmured to himself, inspecting the details. When he turned the handle and opened the door, he was surprised by an intense light that completely enveloped him. Stunned, Carlos walked through the door and found himself in a place that seemed both familiar and different. He was in a parallel version of his town. The streets, the houses, everything was there, but something was different. People looked at him with recognition, but Carlos didn't know anyone. "What's going on? This seems, but it's not my town," Carlos said, looking around, confused. Disoriented, he decided to explore. That's when he saw Mariana, alive and healthy, walking out of a bakery. Carlos's heart nearly stopped. Tears filled his eyes at the sight of his beloved wife again. He ran to embrace her. "Mariana! My God, you're alive!" Carlos exclaimed, emotional, trying to hug her. But Mariana looked at him in confusion. "Are you okay, Carlos?" she asked, not recognizing the desperation in her husband's eyes. "Mariana, it's me, Carlos. How can you not recognize me?" he insisted, trying to hold back his emotions. She stepped back, suspicious. "Sorry, but you must be confusing me with someone else," she replied, looking at him with concern. Carlos was devastated. In a world where his wife was alive, he was a stranger to her. Trying to understand what had happened, he discovered that in this reality, he had never married Mariana. She was a single woman who had never heard of him. Desperate, Carlos began to look for a way back to his world. During his search, he found a version of himself who was a famous architect, rich and respected, but lonely and unhappy. "Who are you?" the architect asked, perplexed by the existence of the other Carlos. "I am you, from another reality," the carpenter replied, trying to explain the situation. "I just want to go back home." The architect, intrigued and at the same time scared, offered help. "This is unbelievable. But if you are really me, I'll help you figure out how to get out of here." Together, they began to research the magical door. "This door, there's something ancient and powerful about it. Something we shouldn't have meddled with," the architect commented, worried. They discovered that the door was a portal created by an ancient craftsman who wanted to escape his own life. But the portal had a curse. It allowed people to see versions of their lives that could have been, but it didn't allow them to stay. "If you don't close that door soon, you'll be trapped here forever," the architect warned. "I can't stay here, no matter how tempting it is. My life is on the other side," Carlos replied, determined to return. The architect nodded. "I understand. I've thought about running away from my life many times, but running is never the answer." Carlos knew he couldn't stay, no matter how tempting it was. He found the door again and prepared to cross it. Before leaving, he met Mariana once more. "Mariana, I just wanted you to know that I loved you in another life, with all my heart," Carlos said, tears in his eyes. Mariana, not fully understanding, just smiled and hugged him. "I feel there's something special about you. Maybe in another life, I would love you too," she said tenderly. "I will never forget you, no matter what life I'm in," Carlos said, holding her hand for a moment before letting go. With a heavy heart, Carlos crossed the door back to his world. Upon returning, he found himself in the same house under renovation, with the door now closed forever. He realized that no matter how painful his reality was, it was his life, and he needed to move forward. "This is where I belong," Carlos murmured to himself, with a new determination. Carlos continued his work, but now with a new perspective. The experience taught him to value the life he had, and he began to open himself up again to love and happiness. "I will honor the life I have, with all its challenges. This is my true journey," he said as he hammered the last nail into the renovation, a smile of peace on his face. Life lesson: sometimes, what we desire isn't always what we truly need. Alternative realities may seem tempting, but true happiness lies in accepting and valuing the life we have, with all its challenges and imperfections.